Welcome to Shorts Beyond Measure, where fashion, interiors, and psychology get the stylish, savvy, and slightly therapeutic touch.
We're Tara West, Caroline Baltz, and Allison Goldberg, a fashion stylist and two interior designers who are also trained as psychotherapists.
So let's get into what's trending, what's tired, and what's actually worth your time. Because good style and good decisions should never be short-lived.
Welcome to Shorts with Tara, but guess what? There's been a change. It's now Welcome to Shorts Beyond Measure with my new co-hosts, Caroline and Allison. Welcome, ladies. Actually, Caroline and Allison have been on my podcast before. Was it a year ago?
No, it was longer.
It was longer. So a while ago, but there are, first of all, I'm so excited. So thank you, ladies, for coming on and joining me and taking over this incredible podcast that I've built as we laugh, because Jill and I built this in our basement many years ago. But what I wanted to say is we have a lot in common. So much, right?
Yep. It's really rare to have all of our backgrounds be so similar.
Do you guys want to talk about what those are, or do you want me to get into it?
Whatever you want, Tara. We are bringing us on. We'll take your lead.
All right. Well, we all were therapists. And we focused on different aspects of therapy. And what the beauty of that is you guys are going to learn a lot, and we're going to teach you a lot.
Yeah, I love to geek out.
She does. And I'll be the obnoxious one on the side.
And so not only are we going to have therapy involved, but I am, as you guys know, a fashion stylist, and these ladies are incredibly talented interior designers. So we're coming from fashion and design, which is a really hot topic right now, don't you think?
It's so hot. And I feel like what worked for me is that with therapy, Allison and I were just talking about this the other day. With therapy, you don't know if you're like making any progress sometimes. It's so nebulous. It's not something, just like being a mom. You're like, oh my God, like, am I doing things right? And with design, like it either looks amazing or it doesn't. And the measure is perfect or it's not. And so that concrete really, I think, balances me having both of those disciplines.
And wouldn't you say the result of all of it, because I feel this way when I dress people, is when you look good, you feel good. So I can only imagine how your clients feel when you complete a project and they walk in and see. That must be incredible.
It's absolutely amazing especially when we get to do a reveal and clients get to go in and see the entire room complete. We really focus on making the client's home feel like their space. We don't impart our own design ideas on them. We do help clarify their design and make it the best possible, but we really want their home to feel like their home and represent them. So it's such a great feeling. And I'm sure you do the same thing with outfits. Like you might love something, but if the person doesn't feel good in it, they shouldn't be wearing it.
It's true. I don't ever try to change somebody, because I feel like everybody has their own personality or thing. I just try to elevate people's style. And so I would just want them to feel the best that they can feel in the clothing that they're wearing. Because like I said, when you look good, you feel good.
Well, and it's whether it's your home or it's your outfit, it's an expression of self. And that's where I think there's such a dovetail of the two.
So my big question, which I'm sure the audience is wondering, how did you guys come together and build this incredible business?
Well, Caroline met me and fell in love.
Yeah.
I had to accept her as my business partner. No, go ahead, Caroline.
It started, we were working for St. Jude's on Runway to Miracles. We were on a committee together, and it was so cool. Our kids got to walk down this runway, and we had, numerous meetings to raise money for the amazing cause. And the woman that was co-chairing was a good friend of ours, both of ours. And she was like, you guys have to meet. It's so wild. You both have psychotherapeutic degrees and you're both into design. And P.S., your houses almost look identical to one another. So,
yeah. And at that point, Caroline had already kind of started psychological interiors. And I was just basically, I'd finished my renovation and excuse me, and I was helping out some friends and hadn't really developed a business plan or anything like that. And so Caroline and I did a project together, and it was the best project either of us had done working together. The design was so elevated. We actually got published in the Boston Globe, and it just kind of took off from there. We got along really well. The design was amazing. The clients liked working with us. We had two very different points of view, but bringing them together was just so great.
Yeah, yin and yang. But I want to know, how did you go from being a marriage and family therapist to like fashion stylist? It's
Well,
amazing.
yeah, it's funny you ask because I was going to ask you guys, was it always a passion for you to get into interior decorating? Because for me, I grew up in LA, and of course, I was born into fashion because when you're in LA, you like come out of the womb fashionable. Come on. But I wasn't allowed to go to school for fashion because it was much like going to school to be an actor. And as we know, everybody in LA wants to be an actor. And so I had a really, really hard life, as I've talked about on this before. I don't know even know if you guys know my story, but anyways, I decided to become a therapist because I had been put into therapy since I was 3, so I knew that profession very well, and I was the best dressed therapist
Of
ever,
course.
ever.
Love
People would
it.
walk in and be like, "Where'd you get that? That's not the point. I'm trying to help you with your life." And so, I knew I wanted to be a stylist. I did not know how to get there. I used to sit there and help my clients, but think in the back of my head, how am I going to get to the place that I want to be? And then, after my 3rd child, I just launched my business. I had no idea if people were going to take to it. It was 12 years ago now. So there weren't really stylists.
Yeah.
I mean, stylists is kind of like a newish thing, but and so I did it. And because I never wanted to regret not doing it.
Like a wake up moment. You were like, I need to just hang my shingle and give it a shot.
I did. And I knew like that was my youngest had just started preschool. My kids were in the preschool where it was the melting pot for clients.
Mhm.
There's pregnant women, not pregnant. People would say, I love what you're wearing. When you're pregnant, you're not pregnant. So I figured this is the time, and if I fail, I failed, but at least I tried. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I brought my passion to life. And I think that as we see with so many people, when you have a passion and you can create a business out of it, you usually succeed. It takes a lot. It's a lot of work, as you guys know, but because you're so passionate about it, I think that it can become very successful. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Somebody gave me this book when I was in college. Do it you love, the money will follow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. But did you always have a passion for interior design?
I mean, I always walked into homes and was like, wow, this is amazing. My grandmother owned an antique shop in Maine and bought this little antique colonial, and each room was set up and I felt like a doll walking through a dollhouse. And it was just like this memory that I have that's so cool, but I didn't know how to do it.
Right.
There's so many moving parts and color and texture and scale. And so I was intimidated for sure.
What about you, Allison?
I mean, I was a little girl that rearranged her room like once a month. I mean, I think I drove my parents crazy because I would literally like try and drag the bed into the other corner to just get a different feeling in the room. And I just always loved it, but it was never even an idea in my head that it could be a career. I went into social work, much like you. I was in therapy for most of my life. My brother died when I was a kid, so we were in family therapy, we were in individual therapy, and then my mom, 2 years after my brother died, went and got her master's in social work. When I graduated college, took a year off, kind of tried to figure out what I was going to do, and then went to get my master's in social work. And I was really happy, but when I got married and had kids, I couldn't give my all to my clients anymore. I really needed to focus on my kids. There's a huge burnout rate. I was working in Brockton, which with a lot of at-risk youth, and I was on call, 24 hours a day basically for my clients, and I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I felt the same way because I was a young therapist. I saw a lot of kids who struggled with, depression, suicidal, and it takes a toll. They say don't take it home with you, but any normal person cannot not take it home with them. But now I love the calls where they can't find the Gucci shoe. Hey guys, I can find that Gucci shoe. I will find that Gucci shoe. It's a really different, right? I'm sure you get those calls too of
Yes.
distress of, I don't know, maybe the fabric didn't come in or I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love a first world problem.
Yeah, I know it sounds silly, but when you do hard work like that, as we can all relate, it feels good to maybe not have that level of anxiety because it's not so serious,
Yeah.
right?
There's no real emergencies.
You're right.
Yeah. No life and death in fashion or interior design.
No, but we bring joy, and I think that that's what I love about it. I love to make people feel good, just like I did in therapy, and I like when people are happy with who they are.
We always try to do some pro bono work, and we worked with a woman who has Parkinson's. It was all virtual. She was on the West Coast, and when we were beginning to do the mood boards and the design, and she could really see it coming together, she was like tearful, and it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, it is a wonderful thing. So I want to end on this a little bit because I think business is a lot about building relationships. And I think that you guys can attest to this because I tell my interns or whoever works for me that they should go do the return because that's the grunt work for my business, going to do return. And sometimes the him and haw, I said, every time you walk into that store, you're building a relationship, not because of me, but because of you. And so I look at everything like that. And wonderfully, that's how we met. We in a relationship. And so you see how things can evolve and turn into we never thought that this would be happening.
Oh, yeah, it's true. I feel like making people feel good never hurts.
It never hurts. And I think building a relationship with people is when you own your own business, that's probably one of the most important things, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. I mean, we've have clients that have become friends. It's just, you just do this outreach and your network becomes bigger. And, we really focus on finding good energy clients. So we say goodbye to all the other ones.
I'm with you on that. I've only had to fire 2 people ever. And, I think that that's important too, though. It's important to know when to say no, or I'm sorry, we just don't work well together.
Right. We want them to be happy. And if it's not a good fit, we're okay with that too. I mean, if it doesn't feel good to them, it probably doesn't feel good to us either.
Well, I'm only excited for our adventure here together, ladies. Thank you again for joining me and you guys, my audience. This is amazing because now it's our audience and we will move forward. If you have questions or if you guys want to hear certain topics, please let us know.
Yeah, definitely let us know. And we're so happy to be here.
Yeah. Thanks, Tara.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios. That's it for this week's Shortlist. Thanks for listening.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, share it, leave a review, or let us know what's on your short list.
Shorts beyond measure, because the most important things in life can't be quantified.